Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cruising with Matthew. In this video, I'm going to share some hints and tips about Windstar Star Legend, which I was lucky enough to sail on in January 2024. So I really hope you enjoy this video. Before I start, I just want to highlight that this cruise was kindly gifted to me by Windstar, so you'll see a hashtag ad in the title as well as a paid promotion flag on this video. However, I haven't been paid to portray this cruise in a particular way. Instead, you'll get my usual honest opinion about what I enjoyed and what can be improved. Do note that whilst this video was made on board Star Legend, her sister ships, Star Breeze and Star Pride, are practically identical. If you're sailing on either one of these, then this video will be relevant to you too. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Number 1. Star Legend is a small ship. Now, although it may seem like I'm stating the obvious a little bit, her smaller size is by far her biggest asset, as it enables you to explore ports that other ships simply can't reach. For instance, on our cruise, we were able to dock right in the centre of Nice, whereas larger ships would typically have to tender in Villefranche-sur-Mer, which is some distance away. We also were able to dock in the centre of Marseille, which normally requires you to dock in the cruise terminal some 15 to 20 minutes drive away. As a result, being on Star Legend means that you get to step off the ship and start exploring straight away, without having to worry about lengthy coach or tender transfers, which is a massive plus. She's also incredibly easy to get around, and you can quickly figure out where everything is. This meant that the ship quickly became really familiar to us and felt like a home away from home. This really helped foster an intimate and relaxed experience on board, as you quickly got to know your fellow passengers and everyone became a familiar face. Star Legend's size also gave her staff a chance to shine, as the crew were so friendly and attentive and couldn't do enough to help us, yet they managed to do this in a really relaxed way, which we loved. Our cabin steward in particular was incredible, creating towel animals, leaving tasty treats, and even went to the trouble of decorating our cabin to celebrate Yeon's birthday, even though I didn't ask them. It was such a lovely touch, and just one of the many little things that the crew did that made our cruise on Windstar feel so special. Number 2. Small ships, smaller balconies. Something to be aware of when you're booking is the fact that unless you're staying in one of her larger suites, instead of what you see on a traditional cruise ship, they only offer these small French-style balconies. It's also not that tall, so if you're like me and you're 6'2", your head is likely to be brushing against the ceiling. Any higher, and I'd imagine you'd need to physically stoop to avoid hitting your head, which isn't ideal. Granted, it was nice to be able to pop out briefly and take in the views, but it's just incredibly narrow, and frankly I don't think it adds much, especially since Star Legend has so many incredible spots of open deck to enjoy. This being said though, it is personal preference, but I just thought it was something to be aware of. Number 3. Spend some time on Star Legend's bow. Here you'll find several comfy looking padded sun loungers, as well as a large hot tub, which certainly would be a popular spot during Star Legend's warmer cruises. However, its standout feature is the fact that you can enjoy some incredible forward-facing views here. As a result, it quickly became a real favourite of ours during sailaways, especially when we enjoyed some scenic cruising by sailing close to the Frioul archipelago after leaving Marseille. Another cool feature to this deck is the fact that you get a great view of Star Legend's forward superstructure, which isn't something you can normally do on most cruise ships, so the maritime geek in me was very happy indeed. It also seemed to hide in plain sight somewhat, as you could only access it via some outside stairs in front of the bridge, as well as via some quite heavy watertight doors on deck 5. As a result, we didn't see many people using this spot on our cruise, which really seemed like a shame. So if you're sailing on Star Legend anytime soon, I'd recommend you seek this area out. Number 4. Try all the dining options on board. Food is very much at the forefront of life on board Star Legend, and we were so impressed with the variety of dining options on offer, especially given the overall size of Star Legend. What makes the dining options even better though is the fact they are all included in your fare, so it's well worth giving them a go. Venues include Amphora, which is Star Legend's main dining room and felt like such an elegant space on board. This operates under open sitting, so you just have to turn up and be seated at your desired table size. Whilst it only served dinner on our cruise, we were blown away by the food on offer here, with each meal being so tasty and well presented. As a result, I'd say it's the best food I've ever had in the main dining room of a ship. Next up, you'll find Quadro 44, which serves Spanish cuisine with a focus on its coastal regions. The food here was fantastic, especially as tapas and Spanish-style food is always a favourite of ours back home. There were so many dishes on offer here that we just wanted to try them all. Do note though that if you're sailing from the 13th of December onwards, this venue will be replaced with Basil and Bamboo, which aims to fuse both Asian and Mediterranean cuisine. It's a shame that Quadro 44 is going to be leaving the ship, as it was our favourite meal on the whole cruise. However, Basil and Bamboo sounds really exciting, and I'm sure it's going to be a worthy successor to Quadro 44. Also on board is the Veranda, which is Star Legend's buffet venue, serving both breakfast and lunch throughout your cruise. Whilst it isn't a massive venue, we felt like there was a good selection of hot and cold options to suit a range of appetites at breakfast and lunch. However, if none of the food in the buffet grabs you, you can always order dishes a la carte, including omelettes at breakfast, as well as things like burgers and hot dogs at lunch. In the evening, this venue transforms into Candles, which is a specialty restaurant offering a great selection of both steak and seafood. It's probably the most popular venue on Star Legend, and for good reason. All the food was packed full of flavour, with the ingredients involved feeling like a step above what I'd normally have on other cruise lines. Do note you do have to make a reservation at both Quadro 44 and Candles, but every guest is guaranteed the chance to dine here at least once per cruise. Finally, at the very top of the ship, you'll find the Star Grill, which focuses on a variety of both barbecue and grill options. Being outside, the opening of this venue is dependent on the weather, but can offer both lunch and dinner. Despite us cruising the Mediterranean in January, we did manage to eat here one lunchtime, and we were so impressed with the food. You can enjoy things like salmon, chicken and ribs, as well as some soups, along with a few dishes from Asia, which was so tasty and felt quite different to all the other venues on board. Number 5. Onboard entertainment is not the focus of the cruise. One of the biggest distinctions I found between Windstar and other cruise lines is their approach to organise entertainment on board. Due to Star Legend's size, there isn't a traditional theatre to speak of, nor is there a packed itinerary of onboard events each day of your cruise. I was quite worried that we may end up getting quite bored on this cruise, and that we wouldn't have enough to do. However, we spent way longer in our ports of call than we normally do on a typical cruise, helped largely by the fact we were often docked right in the centre of cities and had longer times in port, including several overnight stays, which was a massive plus. As a result, I was actually quite thankful that the onboard schedule was quite sparse during the day, as we'd have missed most of it. Star Legend felt very much like a luxurious base to start and finish your day on, but I almost felt like we were encouraged to get off the ship and explore each port to the fullest. This isn't to say there isn't anything to do on Star Legend, as there are plenty of places to kick back and relax, like the screening and card rooms, if you want to watch movies or play a selection of board and card games with your fellow passengers. Plus there are areas like the spa and thermal spa, with the latter being included in your fare. And of course you have your cabin, which was so comfy, and we just loved relaxing here in between exploring ports. In the evenings they have a selection of organised entertainment, such as daily destination talks in the lounge, which seemed quite popular. You'll also find performances by the onboard bands Infinite Groove, Free Duo, or a combination of the two each evening in Compass Rose. Although these were quite laid back in comparison to what you'd get on larger cruise ships, we really enjoyed their performances. You'll also find a variety of ad hoc activities to look out for, and this includes the captain's welcome and farewell parties, which we both really enjoyed, as it gave you a chance to get to know your crew as well as say goodbye after a fantastic cruise. The real highlight though was the Windstar Cruise Show, which was just so much fun to watch, and we were blown away by the wide variety of talent on show here. Something I loved about Windstar though was the fact that they also invite local acts to perform. During our overnight stay in Nice, we were lucky enough to see Trio Butterfly and loved their range of well-known and more unique French songs. We enjoyed it so much that we did wish there'd be more of these during our cruise. However, I bet it must be a logistical nightmare to arrange. Therefore, if you're sailing on Star Legend or her sister ships after sailing with more mainstream cruise lines, you may have to adjust your entertainment expectations. The ports are very much the destination with this ship, and although I did miss having an evening show on board, there simply isn't enough space on a ship like Star Legend. What they have in their place though is still quite good, it just can't match the variety of a larger cruise ship. Although to be honest, Windstar isn't trying to do this. Instead, it gives you the time to fully explore the ports that you're visiting before stepping back on board in the evenings to enjoy some low-key activities as well as more unique events like the cruise show or enjoying a local performance. Sea days may be a little more padded out, however I can't comment on this as we didn't have any sea days during our cruise. Number 6. Enjoy the Yacht Club and its observation deck. Finally, I just wanted to highlight the fabulous Yacht Club, which is located right at the front of the ship on Deck 8. Now this is a real gem on board Star Legend, as it's a wonderfully cozy place to sit back and relax and take in the views whatever the weather. It also features a small library with a decent selection of books, as well as board games and jigsaws. So if you fancy some chilled time during your cruise, then this would be a great spot to visit. What makes the Yacht Club even better though is the fact there's a small cafe here too. This gives you the chance to order a selection of hot and cold drinks, plus they have a variety of light bites as well as desserts and sweet treats, should you end up missing the main meal times on board, or if you just feel a bit peckish. Directly in front, you'll find another fabulous bit of open deck space, which gives you some great views over the front of the ship. Plus, as it was a bit more sheltered than being right at the ship's bow, it quickly became another one of our favourite spots on board, especially when it was a little windy. For instance, we loved standing out here watching Star Legend do some rather tight manoeuvres as we left Nice, as well as enjoying a spectacular sail into Barcelona as the sun rose at the end of our cruise. Overall, we really enjoyed our time on board Star Legend, and I loved its more intimate and relaxed atmosphere. Having gone from sailing on much larger ships to this more boutique yacht style of ship, I didn't quite realise how different the experience would be. Everything felt more sedate, and whilst there isn't a packed entertainment schedule or a plethora of bars and lounges, it really gives you the chance to sit back and unwind, enjoying good food and great service. Her smaller size also means you can step off and be right in the centre of it all, with their longer stays meaning that we really got a feel for the incredible destinations we got to see, rather than a flying visit. Therefore, whilst it's certainly a more unique cruising experience, I'd highly recommend Star Legend, and I hope I can sail on Star Legend or one of Windstar's other ships in the not too distant future. So there you have it, my hints and tips for Windstar Star Legend, and I really hope you enjoyed it. A massive thank you to Windstar for gifting me this incredible cruise, and I hope you found it useful. I hope you're all doing well at the moment, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. So until next time, this is Cruising with Matthew, and thank you so much for watching.